Okay, Ian, what do you think depression is?
It's when you're sad.
What do you think depression is?
It's when you want to kill yourself, but
Okay.
I don't know!
What do you think depression is?
Depression is where it's a real sickness in the brain, and sometimes you want to kill yourself, and you tend to. I forgot.
What do you think depression is?
Depression to me is when people are down and they feel like nobody loves them, or they just aren't really in with anybody. They're like nobody likes them, and kind of like if they get bullied.
Okay. What do you think depression is?
Depression is when someone is really sad and they start doing stupid stuff like cutting and attempting suicide sometimes.
Most people don't even realize that someone you may know really well and seems like the happiest person in the world could have depression. Their mind could slowly be killing them from the inside out. Depression is actually really common. It will happen when your dog dies or someone in your family passes away, or if someone that you've been in a relationship for a long time with has broken up with you. And so it's really common, but if it lasts for more than a few weeks to a few months, then you might have clinical depression, which is actually a treatable medical condition, believe it or not. Many people commit suicide because they have depression, which is a big no-no. You shouldn't do that. And suicide claims more lives than war, natural disasters, and murder combined, which shouldn't be happening, because if someone commits suicide, then there will be one less person in this world who could be a leader someday, who could lead this world to greatness. And they will have done it themselves. It will be their fault that they're gone. And over 50% of all people who commit suicide actually have major depression. More Americans suffer from depression than cancer, coronary heart disease, and AIDS. How you can actually help treat depression is you can keep the person smiling and laughing, and their thoughts of suicide and being worthless will basically go away because they'll be happy and they'll feel wanted for once. And another thing you can do is go on medication. I'm actually on medication because I was diagnosed with clinical depression in May. And it's changed a lot. Now I smile all the time and I rarely ever get depressed. And when I do get depressed, yeah, I'm sad and yeah, I am a little suicidal. But I always think of the people who care about me and I'm all better. Because for a lot of my time of my life, I felt worthless and unwanted. But then I met all these amazing people, and now I don't feel that way, and I know that I'm wanted. A lot of people who are depressed feel worthless and unwanted, and they don't feel like they're good enough or pretty enough. And they just want to be better, but they know they can't, so they resort to suicide. And another treatment is the suicide hotline. If someone you know is depressed and they're thinking of committing suicide, just call the suicide hotline. Make sure it's on your phone, or you at least have it somewhere with you, so that if something happens to someone you love, you know what to do, so you can help protect them. I know someone who just over a year ago, she passed. And I wasn't that close to her later on in her life. But in 3rd grade, we used to ride the bus home every day together. And we were really good friends. And if someone you know who is depressed commits suicide, don't forget about them. Because a lot of people who are depressed feel worthless and unwanted. And that's why they kill themselves. It's because they feel like nobody will notice or nobody will care. And if you remember them and never forget about them, They're going to be like, oh, why did I commit suicide? There's such a great world that I left, and there are people who actually care about me. And so if you make sure that people know that you want them around and you keep them happy, they won't feel that way, and that not as many people will commit suicide anymore. Suicide is a big problem because of depression. So if you know someone who's depressed and you care about them dearly, then make sure they're happy all the time. Either suggest medication to an adult who is very close to them, like their parents or a counselor, and know the suicide hotline just in case if something happens, because you really never know.